Good evening and welcome back. Today is the 15th day of March 2017, the Ides of March. If you'll remember in your history book, Julius Caesar was advised to beware the Ides of March. And you know, I think Rachel Maddow should have taken the same advice. Now she planned and she planned and she planned to overthrow Trump, and this time she thinks she's got it. She decided she was about to broadcast a show of her life. This is the show that would etch her name in broadcasting history. The show that would make her a household name and would put Donald Trump and his presidency out of business for good. Instead, she ended up with egg on her face. She got scooped by other agencies, a lot of other agencies, and reinforced the idea that Donald Trump is a respectable businessman and a patriotic American. A few hours before her show on Tuesday, Maddow released a teaser for liberals and tweeted out that she had gotten hold of Trump's tax returns and she's going to be revealing them on her show. And then she put out on March 14th, breaking, we've got Trump's tax returns tonight, 9 p.m. Eastern, MSNBC. And she did that several times, and of course she got all the celebrities. They were texting her and they were tweeting her and telling her what a good job she was doing. They got their hopes up for no reason. Because right before her show, most of the American news media also got copies of the 2005 tax returns, rendering her big reveal a moot point. Though it wasn't all for naught, because we got to watch Rachel disappoint millions of liberals when she finally revealed that President Trump had paid a much higher tax rate than anyone could have imagined. And America laughed. She's a pundit. They say she's a pundit. I'll discuss pundit at the end of this because this is something she is certainly not. We'll learn about what a pundit is. But anyway, back to my story. Sadly for her, about an hour or so before her big reveal was set to happen, the White House decided to release Trump's 2005 tax return themselves. And several media outlets, including CNN, ran with the story first. Oh man, then they put out this information from the White House. Said their statement was the White House said Tuesday President Donald Trump earned more than $150 million in income and paid $38 million in taxes, even after taking into account large-scale depreciation for construction in response to questions about the coming publication of his 2005 return. They took that opportunity and they wondered if Maddow had broken the law really to get the return, or simply encouraged someone else to break the law. You know you're desperate for ratings when you're willing to violate the law to push a story about 2 pages of tax returns over a decade ago. This is what the White House officials told us. Maddow's colleagues in the media quickly realized that the big build-up for the show was nothing to get excited about, and that Maddow oversold her exclusive scoop, which she got scooped on. And they mocked her mercilessly for it. And let's look at Tucker Carlson, who already read the returns and reported it. Greg Gutfeld, Godfrey Efwick. Oh, then Rachel Maddow Maddow, I'm sorry, I don't mean to get the lady's name wrong. That's her up here behind me. But her credibility is shot. And if it gets worse, CNN's favorite liberal pundit, again, Pundit, We'll talk about that. Van Jones explained, here's the reality. If all we tonight, I don't understand how I'm reading this word for word, and it doesn't even make sense. Here's the reality. If all we tonight is that Donald Trump paid $38 million. I think he meant if all we learn tonight is that Donald Trump paid $38 million to America's government. That's a good night for Donald Trump. I'm sorry, I was really hoping and praying it would be a show that not only did he pay no taxes, but he charged the government and got money back. But there's nothing I could get excited about here. Now that was Van Jones. Anyway, Rachel ends up with egg on her face again. And you see what happens when you try too hard. Now let's talk about this word pundit before I leave. I looked up the word, and pundit refers to expert. Comes from the Eastern Indian Sanskrit Pandita or Pandita, I'm not sure how you pronounce that, which means Hindu sage or learned person. Well, let me tell you what, these people are neither sages or learned persons. They are nothing but people that put out false news in the hopes of making big ratings, and someday they'll be somebody. Anyway, that's my thought for the day. Let me know what you think, and please like down here and subscribe to my page if you haven't already, so you get my words every day. And pass this on to your friends. I'd like to hear their comments, and I'd love to hear yours. Have a great night, and please come back and see me.